What is going on, YouTube? What is going on? I hope everybody is doing good. Everybody is feeling good, guys. We got huge news, guys. Pete Alonso is going to be a New York Met again, guys. Pete Alonso is a New York Met again. Once again, listen, not even gonna lie to you, this whole Pete Alonso thing, it's been dragged out. Like this guy really thought he was going to get a $200 million contract. He thought he was going to be a big time guy, and Pete Alonso's now back with the New York Mets, guys. Pete Alonso has re-signed with the New York Mets. Huge news, honestly. When it comes to Pete Alonso, this was something that it just seemed like it was going to happen. It seemed like the New York Mets, they were going to sign oh no, I changed my name now. Now we got it's all Randy Talks Mets now. Randy Talks Mets is now the channel. It's not anymore all things Mets. It's just Randy Talks Mets. I just wanted to be and my name is Randy. So yeah. But basically that's gonna be the channel name. So my name is Randy. Nice to meet you. If you didn't know my name, now you know my name. But man, Pete Alonso, going back to Pete Alonso, I feel like this is something that was surprising. It wasn't as surprising as like, because he met with the Angels, and then he met with the Toronto Blue Jays or whatever. I just never thought that Pete Alonso was gonna go to the Angels. I never thought that he was gonna go to the Blue Jays. I just never saw it happening. I felt like he wanted to come back to the Mets, but also he didn't get a better offer. There was no other better offer. They were not going to give him a better offer. There was never a doubt that Pete Alonso was going to come back to the Mets. The only way it wasn't going to happen is if the money, if the Mets didn't give 30 million, that probably, they were ready to walk away. The Mets were ready to walk away, and it didn't happen. But they didn't walk away, and they stayed in contact. And I like that the Mets now have back their first baseman. They got Pete Alonso back for 1 year. Basically, it's a 2-year contract, but 54 million. But he can opt out after the first year. So if he has a really good year, he can opt out. And if he does, then he does. I mean, at the end of the day, I think when it comes to the New York Mets, if the New York Mets are able, let's say Pete Alonso opts out, they can go after Vladimir Guerrero Jr. next year. So, and there's going to be options. The Mets want Vlad Jr. That is that is going to be their main focus in the next offseason. We will see what happens with Vladimir Guerrero in the spring training extension. And if the Toronto Blue Jays extend Vlad, we will see. But the Mets, whether it is Pete Alonso, whether it is going to be Ryan Clifford or Vladimir Guerrero Jr., it's going to be, I don't feel like Pete Alonso is going to be a Met for the rest of his career. I don't feel that way. Now, maybe it could happen, but what I will say is I'm glad he's back. I'm glad that the lineup looks a lot better. And I really want to touch on this lineup here. What do you guys think about this lineup here? We got Lindor. We got Mark Vientos in the second spot. I like that just because of the lefty-righty. I got Juan Soto in the third spot. I got Alonso cleanup. And I got Nimmo. I got Nimmo in the fifth spot. I feel like, me personally, I want Nimmo to have a better year. And maybe, when he was the leadoff hitter, he didn't know what type of hitter he wanted to be. So now with this lineup, Nimmo can, breathe a little bit. And maybe he can be healthy and he can be better. We will see. At the end of the day, though, you got Marte or you got Winker. That is going to be your DH. You got Starling Marte or you got Jesse Winker. And I like Starling Marte and I like Jesse Winker. So me personally, I did want a guy like Jock Peterson, but it was too much to ask for. And it is what it is. But what I will say is you got McNeil in the seventh spot. Me personally, I am not the biggest fan of Jeff McNeil. I don't even want Jeff McNeil on this team anymore. But what I will say is David Stearns and the Mets, they want Jeff McNeil on this team. They don't want to trade him. So it kind of is what it is. We kind of can't get away from this guy. We can't get away from this guy. So Jeff McNeil is still a Met, and he's still going to be the second baseman. Me personally, I would love to see Ronnie Mauricio or Luis Angel Acuna get the chance to play second base. I really thought that David Stearns was going to trade Jeff McNeil, and I'm kind of surprised that Jeff McNeil is still with this team, to be honest, because he hasn't been that player. You know, he won the batting championship, and he won the batting. He was the batting champ in 2022, and then after that, he really hasn't done much. He hasn't. He hasn't been the same Jeff McNeil 300 hitter, a guy like that. It hasn't been like that. So I want to get to a comment here. Here said, meanwhile in Syracuse, thanks for watching. I like that he's back. I like in the short term that I just don't want him in the cleanup spot or the 3-hole. He can't hit with runners in scoring position. That is something that unfortunately, I agree with you on the runners in scoring position. He's not that good of a hitter with runners in scoring position. I completely agree with you, but there's no way the Mets are not going to have this guy, Pete Alonso, in the cleanup spot or the third spot. It's just not going to happen. So I agree with you completely, and I hope that Pete Alonso has a better year. I really do hope that he has a better year, because this guy, Pete Alonso, now has more pressure. He has more pressure. He wanted a big contract. He wanted, and it didn't happen. The market was not good enough for him. Now, at the end of the day, we will see what happens with Pete Alonso's year in 2025. But I am glad he's back in the lineup. I am glad he's a New York Met again. I was personally ready to walk away from Pete Alonso, just like David Stearns, just like Steve Cohen. They would have been fine. I think it would have been fine without Pete Alonso. But with Pete Alonso in the lineup, it's a better lineup. I'm a fan of the young guys. So I wanted to play the young guys, and I wanted to see how it would work out, because I'm a big Ronnie Mauricio fan, and I think he has so much potential, and he looks like a beast. He looks like he's really going to be a beast, and I can't wait till he really, gets that opportunity, just like Mark Vientos did. But yeah, he can't hit with runners in scoring position under 200 with an OBP of 500 with runners on. I agree with you there. I really do agree with you. I'd rather get Michael King, Tuck, and move Nimmo to first. Wow, Nimmo to first. Interesting. This is his lineup. This is Jonathan's lineup. We got Nimmo, we got Lindor, we got Soto. Nimmo in the leadoff spot? Listen, I get it, but after last year, you kind of ride with the momentum. I feel like Lindor is going to be your leadoff hitter for the next, maybe 2 years, maybe 1 year. Maybe Acuna could be the leadoff hitter next year, but who knows? But I do like Lindor in the leadoff spot, and I get why you would put him in the second spot. I understand completely. But Nimmo, to me, I don't think he knows what type of player he really wants to be, and what type of hitter he wants to be. He wants to be this power guy. He wants to be this run producer. So if you put him in the leadoff spot, he can't really do that as much as he would be able to do in a fifth spot. And I just don't see it. Ronnie is coming for second or third. 117 exit velocity, 430 feet home runs. Acuna and McNeil could never do that. This is what I'm saying. Ronnie Mauricio is going to be a special player. I like him a lot. I really do feel that Ronnie Mauricio is going to be a big part of this team going forward. Now, with this Alonso news and with Mark Vientos going back to third, I don't know exactly where Ronnie fits into this team right now. And I really hope they don't have him in AAA. But I don't know. I would personally take out McNeil and put Ronnie at second. That's what I would do. But I'm not the manager. I'm not the GM. So it is what it is. I agree with you, though, completely. Let's talk about the pitcher, guy. Let's talk about the pitcher. Like, do the Mets need one more move? Do the Mets need one more move? And who could it be? Is it going to be a Michael King? Is it going to be a Dylan Cease? I don't exactly know. But what I will say is the Mets, I feel like this offseason was really good. This offseason was really, really good. And I really liked what they did in the offseason. Hey, what's going on, Sonic? What is going on? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Randall. Yeah, for some reason people call me Randall. I don't understand. I get it. My name is Randy and people call me, Randall. I get it, but it is what it is. Thank you. Really good to see, good to, hear from you, Sonic. How are you feeling, Sonic? How are we feeling about Pete Alonso back? How are we feeling? Are you happy with this lineup right here? Or are you going to change it? Because for me, Francisco Lindor, what he did last year, you kind of can't get him out of that leadoff spot. Francisco Lindor, to me, he's going to be your leadoff hitter, probably for the next years. I like Francisco Lindor. I love Francisco Lindor. I like Soto in this lineup. This lineup is so much better. So much better. Sonic said he's more than happy. Jonathan said, I want the Mets to trade for Michael King or Luis Castillo. Well, I don't think that Luis Castillo is really on the table anymore. I feel like the Mets, they had a little bit of interest, but I don't think Seattle wants to trade Luis Castillo right now at this moment. Maybe they could trade him in the trade deadline if they don't have a successful season, half of the season. We will see. But at the end of the day, the Mets offseason was pretty good, guys. The Mets offseason was pretty good. Getting Juan Soto was amazing. But bringing back Pete Alonso is something special. It's something that I personally didn't know it was going to happen. I felt like it was going to happen just because of his market. But if this guy was Pete Alonso that hit 50 home runs, when he first came to the league, he would have got a big contract. He would have got probably a lot of years. He would have got more money. But now you see the market in 2020, you see the market for Pete Alonso, and it just wasn't good. It just wasn't as good as he thought it was going to be. Now, Pete Alonso is one of the most powerful hitters in the league. This guy has hit the most home runs in the league. I think third. Maybe he's on the third list. Aaron Judge is probably the first. But when it comes to Pete Alonso, it's something that, it's like, wow, like the Mets brought back this guy and they brought Soto to this team. Now this lineup looks scary. And if Nimmo can be way better than he did last year, I would love for that to happen. But we got to talk about the X factor here. And the X factor is Francisco Alvarez. What are the Mets going to get from Francisco Alvarez? Are they going to get a better Francisco Alvarez? Is he going to mature more? Is he not going to sell out for home runs? What is going to happen with Francisco Alvarez? Because to me, Francisco Alvarez is going to be the X factor of this team. He is going to be a big part of this offense. And if they can get the Francisco Alvarez that they think that they're going to get, that is going to be huge. Just imagine Francisco Alvarez can be a guy, maybe he could bat 260, 270, hit you 25 to 30 home runs, and maybe what, 90 RBIs, 95 RBIs. I would love for that to happen. I would love for that to happen. Jonathan said, I feel Alvi is the key to the Mets' success. Yes, he is. I really feel that he is the key to this lineup. He is going to be the X factor. That is how I feel, because last year, he wasn't doing as bad before the injury. But then once he got that injury, that thumb injury, he had the thumb surgery, he just wasn't the same. He wasn't the same. And I mean, it wasn't surprising to me because Francisco Alvarez, that a thumb injury is a big injury. That messes with your hitting. That messes with your mindset. So I'm not surprised that he didn't come back raking from the injury, because Francisco Alvarez is still a young kid. He's still maturing. He's very, very young. So we will see what happens. But I like this lineup. I like this lineup a lot. Now, what I want to talk about is Jose Siri. This idea that Jose Siri is going to be the starter, the only starter or the main starter for the New York Mets. I don't feel that way. I feel Jose Siri is going to be just like what Harrison Bader was. I feel like if he doesn't hit, he's not going to play much. So Jose Siri is going to be, if let's say they get, because the thing is about Jose Siri, he has power, he has speed, but he sells out for home runs. He chases a lot, and he has the power. He could be good. He could be a really big piece to the Mets if he gets better, if he lays off, those pitches, those high pitches, those high fastballs. But to me, Jose Siri has to do, I think he will be probably better than Harrison Bader. I think he will. But I don't know what they're going to get from him at the end of the day. Because I like Jose Siri. I think he's a good, he's a speedy guy. He's one of the best outfielders that the Mets have right now, with Tyrone Taylor. And he's a center fielder. He's a real center fielder. Now, to me, we will see what happens. But I do like Jose Siri. I just don't know if he's going to play every single day. Because Tyrone Taylor had a really good 2024. He showed that he could be a really good bench piece. He showed that he could play in the outfield. He was one of the best defenders he probably the best defender in the outfield. That was Tyrone Taylor. Let me see here. Do you guys think that Beatty will be up in the major leagues or the minor leagues? Me personally, I think Beatty is going to be up. He's going to be in the minor leagues. I don't see a fit for Brett Beatty on this team right now. I really don't. Beatty is wearing number 7, first time since Stroman in 2019. Before that was Reyes. Yeah, I kind of wish, Jose Reyes got his number, retired with the Mets. That would have been cool, but it is what it is. My 4 Mets bench players are Luis Torrens, Acuna, Marte, and Taylor. Okay. I don't hate it. I like it. Yeah, we know there needs to be a backup catcher, so it's going to be Luis Torrens. I think Luis Torrens is a really good backup catcher, and I'm happy that the Mets brought him back. You got Acuna. To me, it's going to be really tough to really see Acuna in this role, though. I don't know if they want Acuna to be a utility guy, to be a bench piece. I don't know if that's what they want. So maybe he's going to start in AAA. At the end of the day, I don't know what's going to happen, but what are you going to do with Ronnie? What are you going to do with Acuna? What are you going to do with Beatty? Are you going to have all of them start the year in AAA? I don't know. But you know that the Mets want the young kids to play every day. So if he can't play every day in the major leagues, is Acuna going to get that opportunity in the major leagues? I don't feel that he is. Because to me, the Mets have been saying that Jeff McNeil is going to be the second baseman. So there isn't really a role for Acuna other than being a utility guy. And I don't want Acuna to be a utility guy. I like Acuna a lot, but I don't want Acuna to be this utility. Oh my God. First of all. Jonathan, hell no. Hell no. I am not trading Ronnie Mauricio. Ronnie Mauricio is going to be a star for this team. He is going to be a beast. He is going to have he has so much potential already. I am not trading Ronnie Mauricio. Okay? Not for pitching. I'm not, at the end of the day, I'm not trading Ronnie Mauricio. Now, Brett Beatty, on the other hand, I will trade him in an instant. But I'm not trading Ronnie Mauricio. So do me a favor, take out that name because that's not happening. That's not happening. That's not happening. I'm sorry, but I'm a really big Ronnie Mauricio fan, and I really feel like he's going to be a big piece for this team, for this foundation for the New York Mets going forward. So please, you can say that you want to trade Ronnie Mauricio, but that's the reaction that you're going to get out of me because that's my guy. That's my guy. That he's Ronnie Mauricio is my favorite player, and he's not even on the team right now. He's my favorite player, and that I can't wait till Ronnie really just shows how good he is. I really can't wait. Let's see what you said. Meanwhile, in Syracuse said our athletic switch hitter with power. Anyone else except for Sproat, I'm game to trade. Yeah, at the end of the day, I would trade Jet Williams. I would trade maybe what's it called? Kevin Parada. I would trade these guys. Those type of guys I would trade, but I'm not going to trade Ronnie Mauricio. And I'm not going to trade Acuna right now. I feel like they are going to be big pieces for this team in this foundation for the next 5 to 6 years, 3 or 4 years or whatever. It's going to be, you're going to need guys like Ronnie Mauricio. You're going to need a guy like Acuna. Jeff McNeil is going to be a free agent after the 2026 season. So we'll see what happens. But I see so much potential in Ronnie, and I don't want Ronnie to leave this team. I don't. What's going on, Darren? How we feeling, Darren? How we feeling? Let's go, Mets, baby. Pete Alonso is back, guys. Pete Alonso is back with the New York Mets. And to me, it was something that it was going to happen. It was going to happen because of his market. His market just wasn't good enough. He thought he was going to get the $200 million contract, and it didn't happen. Jonathan said, your thoughts on Christian Scott returning in July? In July? I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think Christian Scott is going to pitch in 2025. I think he's coming off the Tommy John. It's a tough injury. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, I don't think he's going to return in July. And also, I don't feel like he's ready. I don't feel like he's ready pitch-wise. I don't think his fastball is good, but his breaking pitches is just not major league ready. He doesn't know what to do with his breaking pitches. So I like Christian Scott, but to me, I just don't see it. I really don't see it. Yes, Sonic. David Wright is getting his number retired in, I think, July, right? Or is it in June? It's going to be this season. I think it's going to be in June or July. But I can't wait for that to happen. David Wright deserves it. David Wright is my favorite player. He will always be my favorite player. David Wright is a guy that I've watched my whole life. David Wright is someone that, man, if it wasn't for his injury, he probably could have been a Hall of Famer. If it wasn't for his injury. So we will see what happens. But for me, I'm excited about the retirement of they're retiring the number for David Wright because he deserves it. He really does deserve it. He was a captain on and off the field. He was a great guy. He was a guy, that was just really awesome to be around. And I've heard from, former players that I've talked to. I've talked to Anthony Recker. I've talked to, former players. And they have said that this guy was really captain material. This guy was a great guy on and off the field. So I really am excited about him getting his number retired with the New York Mets. That is special. That is special. Guys, what's next for the Mets? Is there something next? Are they going to get one more pitcher? Is Dylan Cease a part of that? Do the Mets trade for Dylan Cease? Is that going to happen? We don't know. But what I will say is the Mets, to me, if they don't make a trade for a pitcher, because I think personally they do need a pitcher. They need one more pitcher in the rotation. And Darren, Randy, who would you hit second in the lineup, Vientos or Soto? I'm gonna show you right now. I got Vientos. I got Vientos in the second spot. And to me, Lindor's going to be your first hitter. You know that. After last year, you kind of can't really take Lindor out of that spot. He showed that he is so valuable in the leadoff spot. He can still run. He can still hit. He's a beast. But to me, I got Mark Vientos in the second spot. I like Mark Vientos in the second spot. I don't feel like it's too much pressure. You got Juan Soto behind him. I like that as well. And Alonso, your cleanup hitter. To me, Nimmo, it is going to be also another big factor for the New York Mets in 2025. But this lineup looks so much better than last year. I'll tell you that, man. With Soto in that lineup, with Winker back, with Marte, with, maybe if Francisco Alvarez can have a better year, we will see. I really hope, and I really hope that Francisco Alvarez has a better year, because Francisco Alvarez is such a big piece for this team. Next for the Mets, we get Alex Bregman and move Vientos to DH. Alex Bregman, to me, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think he's gonna sign with he could sign back with the Astros. He could sign with Boston. He could sign with the Tigers. The Tigers are still interested in him. So at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. But I am excited about this season. I am very, very excited about 2025. The Mets offense looks so much better, man. Like this offense, because if they can get a productive season out of Brandon Nimmo, and they can get a really good season out of Francisco Alvarez, then this team is going to be dangerous. This team is going to be dangerous offensively. And what are you going to get from Jeff McNeil? That is another question. Are you going to get Jeff McNeil, a 300 hitter, 300 average hitter? Or are you going to get the Jeff McNeil that strikes out, that hits the ball in the air and hits a pop-up or whatever and tries to hit a home run but is not productive? What are you going to get out of Jeff McNeil? I don't know. But that is something. That is something that's definitely something to watch. Vientos should see a lot of fastballs with Lindor leading off. Soto batting third. Yeah, I really like Mark Vientos in the second spot. This is the lineup I think that Carlos Mendoza should run with. We will see what happens, but I do like this lineup a lot. I do. Yeah, man. I feel like the Mets, 2025 is going to be looking like a special year. Now, the rotation is something that we got to discuss, guys, because you got Kodai Senga. Are you going to get a healthy Kodai Senga? Are you going to get a healthy Kodai Senga? I don't know. What is David Peterson going to look like after a really good year? Did he figure it out? We will see. And then you got Sean Manaea. Sean Manaea is probably the guy that I'm least worried about. And David Peterson, to me, I think he did figure it out. And I really do like David Peterson to be, the first round draft pick that he was supposed to be. So for me, the Mets, this rotation, if Kodai Senga could be healthy and he could be just like he was in his first year, his first rookie year, then that would be great. But we will see. We will see at the end of the day. Do they need one more move, though? Do they need to get Dylan Cease? And what would a trade package look like? If the Mets were to trade for Dylan Cease, would they trade Jet Williams? Would they trade Ryan Clifford or Blade Tidwell? I don't know if that package will get you Dylan Cease, but it should. It definitely should, because Dylan Cease is going to be a rental. And the Mets, the Padres, they like the Mets position players. They like Jet Williams. They like Ronnie Mauricio. They like Acuna. Now, me, I don't want to trade Acuna. I don't want to trade Mauricio. So I hope that doesn't happen ever, because I don't want those guys traded. I think they're they're going to be really important for this Mets foundation for the next coming years. And this is just like he said it right here. Meanwhile, in Syracuse, we're going to have room for Ronnie, Acuna, and Vlad next year with Pete, Marte, Winkert gone. Yeah, you are. But you can use Ronnie in 2025. Because it's a long season, guys. And that's something we forget. Mark Vientos didn't have a spot on this team. You know, he was going to be the DH. And then in the last week by spring training, they signed JD Martinez. And then Mark Vientos went to AAA. And you kind of really didn't think that he was going to get an opportunity. But then Beatty started struggling. And he got an opportunity. You know, Mark Vientos came back one day off the bench and hit this big walk-off home run, showed that passion, showed that power. And then he finally got the call back because he went back to Syracuse. And then he got the call back, and he played third base, and he took the damn job from Beatty because Beatty was not doing what he needed to do. So I think that in 2025, there is going to be somewhere that Ronnie plays. Ronnie Mauricio should play in 2025. I don't want to see this, oh, he's going to wait till next year. No. I want Ronnie Mauricio to play in 2025. The Mets have to figure it out because I see a lot of potential in that kid. A lot. And Acuna, credit to Acuna, he came up big when he first came up. He played well. He played great. He was hitting home runs. He was playing good defense. He showed why he's valuable. This could all been settled with freaking McNeil not being traded, but the Mets didn't want to freaking trade this guy. Yeah, Ronnie should replace McNeil. I would personally put Ronnie Mauricio at second base and replace him with McNeil. If you had a choice between Dylan Cease or Michael King, who do you trade for? Because Cease has ace stuff, but a Boris client. King pitched better in the playoffs. That's a good question. That's a good question. To me, I feel like Dylan Cease has, really good stuff. He has ace stuff. But Michael King did pitch better in the playoffs. That is definitely, to me, what I will say is, for now, I would want the Mets to get Michael King. I would want Michael King over Dylan Cease right now. I think Michael King, he really showed that he could be a really good pitcher. He has nasty stuff. I like Michael King a lot, and he has a mutual option in 2026. So if you get Michael King, you could probably get him for 2 years. I would trade McNeil and Marte and the $35 million for an ace pitcher. I don't disagree with you there, man. I don't disagree with you. I feel like Marte, I feel like the Mets wanted to trade Marte. They just didn't find the partner for him. They didn't find a trade partner. But what I will say about this is I'm still surprised that in 2025, Jeff McNeil is on this team. I get it. He's, versatile. He plays different positions. But having this guy solidified in the second base infield spot, to me, is like, why not give Ronnie Mauricio or Acuna a chance at second base and move Jeff McNeil as a bench piece. Like, why not? Jeff McNeil, he has to. I don't know, man. I'm just not the biggest fan of Jeff McNeil. I don't know. I just don't know, man. I really don't know with this. Yeah, I don't know. Right, Jonathan? We know Cohen isn't afraid to eat contracts. Verlander, Scherzer. Yeah, you're right about that. No problem. Definitely the Mets could eat, contracts and make a trade. They definitely could. There is an ability, for the Mets to make a trade, to make more trades. Now we will see if that happens. We don't know. But what I will say is I am excited about the 2025 Mets. I am very, very excited. Now, I'm going to get out of here, guys. I'm going to get some dinner and stuff. I'm going out. I hope you guys have a great night. Definitely going to be streaming a lot more. So stay tuned. And yeah, this is Randy Talks Mets now, guys. Randy Talks Mets is the channel. And yeah, my name is Randy. So I was like, why not just make my channel Randy Talks Mets? So at the end of the day, you guys are awesome. Have a good one always. Stay blessed. And I am working to improve this channel even better. I want to make this channel better. I want to make it look better. I want to make the graphics look better. I want to make stuff look better. So I am working on that type of stuff. But yeah, man, have a good one. Enjoy. 2025 is going to be a big year for the Mets. And yeah, have a good one, y'all.